Before we cross into the unknown, leave a hello in the comments. Even the smallest signal can ripple across galaxies, guiding fellow wanderers to this tale. Let me know you're out there. A voice among the stars, listening with me beyond the veil. Engines roared as the dreadnought shuddered beneath my feet. I watched Jupiter's orbit burn with the remnants of our allied fleet, burned away by betrayal. Alien warships vanished mid-battle, leaving humanity exposed. The cries of my friends echoed through comm channels, broken, fragmented. I gritted my teeth as plasma streaked past the hull, killing companions whose laughter I still remembered. The galaxy had deemed us weak, but they hadn't counted on the human heart. I swore vengeance, letting grief harden into purpose. Our survival depended on mastering the very technologies that had abandoned us. Through the viewport, Jupiter glowed crimson, scarred by explosions that mirrored the rage in my chest. I activated the dreadnought's plasma array, feeling its hum synchronize with my heartbeat. Tactical displays blinked alien vessel positions. Every abandoned ally, every lost life, engraved in memory. I whispered their names into the calm silence, a litany of fire and sorrow. This fleet was my legacy, tempered by betrayal, ready to strike back. Today, we learned humanity did not just endure. We hunted. The aftermath of betrayal clung to me like a second skin. Debriefing reports counted losses, but numbers couldn't capture the screams. I stared at the wreckage holograms, fingers tracing the paths where our friends had fallen. They had trusted the alien coalition, believing in unity, and paid with blood. Now, as commander of this dreadnought, I carried both guilt and fury. Every system online pulsed with potential destruction, each turret and shield a promise. None would abandon us again. Humanity would rewrite the rules of galactic warfare. We left Jupiter behind, but its memory followed. Sensors scrolled with alien signatures, yet the enemy's fear was palpable. I smiled grimly, tasting the satisfaction of planning retaliation. Fleet maneuvers, energy shielding, quantum drives, every innovation once doubted by our so-called allies were now tools of vengeance. I briefed the captains. They left us to die. We'll make them regret the stars themselves. The dreadnought's engines hummed with purpose, a chorus of mechanical vengeance ready to echo across alien space. We traversed the void, leaving Jupiter's betrayal in our wake but carrying the memories like weapons. I stood over the command holotable, plotting interception courses for alien convoys. Algorithms churned faster than my thoughts, optimizing firing arcs, shield harmonics, and electronic countermeasures. Humanity had learned from fire. Every misstep of the enemy was logged, every weakness analyzed. My crew, once terrified children of betrayal, now moved with confidence, eyes blazing with anticipation. Our revenge was not reckless, it was precise. I recalled Lieutenant Saren, ejected mid-combat while our alien allies fled. That image fueled me as I activated our dreadnought's first strike protocol. Targeting arrays glowed with deadly intent, ready to tear through alien formations. Tactical drones buzzed across the bridge, scanning and rescanning, while our AI computed trajectories with lethal efficiency. The memory of loss sharpened every calculation. The haunting screams became a strategic advantage. Humanity was no longer prey. We were predators, and the galaxy would remember our vengeance. Deep space carried whispers, encrypted messages from former allies now silenced, ambushes waiting in nebula shadows. Every blink on the sensor grid felt like the echo of betrayal. I consulted the bridge AI, which suggested multiple approaches, each deadlier than the last. I traced patterns of alien fleet movements, noticing hesitation where allies once led. Doubt lingered in my crew, but I reminded them. Survival had turned into supremacy. The horror we endured was now our armor. I stood at the viewport as the first enemy scouts emerged from gas clouds. Our drones flared, scanning their hull integrity and power output. I remembered my friends' final transmissions at Jupiter, letting the memory temper fury into cunning. With a nod, I gave the order. Deploy electromagnetic disruptors. Alien shields flickered and failed, their formations wavered. The void had shifted, and humanity now commanded it. Every shattered ship was a memorial. Every explosion a requiem for the fallen, and a warning to the living. We entered an asteroid belt, weaving between colossal rock formations with alien fleets in pursuit. Plasma arcs lit the void, ricocheting in calculated patterns. My heart pounded, yet my hand was steady on the firing console. Each maneuver, each strike, was a message. Betrayal has consequences. I recalled the fear on Jupiter, the helplessness, the silence after comrades were lost. That memory was my fuel, and vengeance my vessel. Humanity would rise from its ashes stronger, smarter, unstoppable. I issued the command to fire the dreadnought's quantum disruptor, a weapon capable of splitting enemy formations in moments. Sensors screamed with overloads as alien warships fragmented like shattered glass. On the bridge, my crew cheered silently, eyes reflecting both horror and triumph. I allowed myself a brief smile, tasting the bitter victory of memory's justice. They had abandoned us once. Never again. Humanity's revenge had begun, and the galaxy would witness the wrath of those forged in betrayal. The void was silent, but memory screamed. I traced the paths of fallen ships from Jupiter across the stars, each trajectory a reminder of treachery. My fingers hovered over the holotable, recalculating intercepts with cold precision. The enemy thought they had shaken humanity, but we had studied every error, every weakness. Every tactical failure had become a blueprint for vengeance. I inhaled sharply as the bridge lights flickered with approaching fleets. Humanity would not repeat history. We would rewrite it in fire. Dreadnought engines thrummed with lethal intent. Forward turrets aligned with alien convoys while electronic countermeasures scrambled their sensors. I whispered the names of lost friends into the calm silence, a ritual of focus. The bridge AI predicted evasive patterns and potential ambushes, but my instincts overrode even the algorithms. Each sensor ping was a heartbeat of memory, each calculated strike a pulse of revenge. Today, the galaxy would learn that betrayal was not a forgotten wound. It was humanity's weapon. Sensors lit with hundreds of signatures. Alien war fleets converging near the Orpheus expanse. I gritted my teeth at the sight, remembering comrades left to burn at Jupiter. Tactical displays outlined their formations, every weak point noted from prior encounters. My crew moved like clockwork, responding to commands that blended instinct, memory, and advanced strategy. The dreadnought hummed in anticipation, plasma conduits primed, shields aligned. This was no longer survival. It was orchestration of fury. I gave the order, engage Formation Delta. Test their cohesion. Mines launched, magnetic fields rippled, and drones darted into enemy ranks, forcing chaos. Alien captains faltered, their prior arrogance shattered by precise maneuvers. On the bridge, the taste of revenge mingled with adrenaline. Every shattered vessel was a requiem for the fallen and a message to the living. Humanity remembers. We had been abandoned, left to die, but now we dictated the terms of war. Plasma arcs danced across the void, reflecting in the viewport like lightning caught in glass. I watched alien hulls splinter, the energy readout spiking with every calculated hit. Memories of Jupiter clawed at my chest, the screams, the betrayal, the helplessness. But now those ghosts guided our strikes. Each turret blast was a tribute, each ion strike a reminder that humanity did not forget. I gripped the console tighter, feeling the dreadnought's engines resonate with my pulse. Captain Herrick leaned close, voice low. They underestimated us. I nodded without looking, focused on targeting grids. My mind replayed the horror of friends ejected into space while allies fled. That agony fueled each decision, sharpened each calculation. Electronic warfare systems jammed alien comms, turning their formations into chaos. On the bridge, silence reigned, punctuated only by the hum of engines and the crackle of shields. Humanity had transformed sorrow into strategy, and vengeance into precision. We drifted near the debris of a shattered enemy cruiser, its fragmented hull a mirror of my memories from Jupiter. I touched the hologram of the fallen, letting grief harden into determination. My crew murmured, sharing the weight of remembrance. Sensors picked up energy spikes, traps, decoys, ambushes, but experience guided our maneuvers. Every obstacle became a lesson, every echo of betrayal a stepping stone. Humanity had learned. Fear could be weaponized, sorrow converted into ruthlessness. I initiated a flank through a dense asteroid field, warping sensors to anticipate collisions. Alien drones swarmed, but we countered with precision bursts, turning ambush into opportunity. The dreadnought's main guns roared, tearing through metallic exteriors, scattering enemies like leaves. I whispered their names into the comm once more, letting memory dictate the choreography of destruction. Today, we fought not for survival, but for justice. Every flash, every explosion, was a requiem for the betrayed. We closed on a primary alien fleet, the void alive with energy arcs and explosions. I recalled my first view of Jupiter's battlefield, friends burning, allies fleeing. The dreadnought vibrated with latent power, a beast built from memory and vengeance. My crew's eyes reflected both fear and anticipation. We had become hunters. Every tactical maneuver, every quantum drive burst was fueled by the ghosts of betrayal. Humanity would no longer be prey. Targeting arrays locked on alien capital ships. Shields bristled against incoming plasma. I activated the dreadnought's graviton disruptor, destabilizing their formations in moments. Alien vessels tumbled helplessly, their coordination shattered. On the bridge, the hum of engines mingled with silent cheers. The taste of vengeance was sweet, tempered by memory. Betrayal had forged us. The galaxy would tremble at humanity's wrath. Today, we struck not just for victory, but to remind the universe. We never forget, and we never forgive. The void carried echoes of Jupiter. Whispers of friends burned alive while allies vanished. I traced those memories across the stars, letting them guide every tactical decision. The dreadnought's hull vibrated with engines primed, shields braced, weapons humming with lethal intent. Crew members moved with silent purpose, their eyes reflecting both grief and determination. Every sensor ping reminded us that survival had transformed into mastery, and mastery into vengeance. Humanity was no longer prey. We were hunters, shaped by betrayal and hardened by loss. I activated the gravitic pulse disruptors, sending alien formations into chaos. Plasma arcs traced the void like bloodlines, scattering enemies across kilometers. My mind replayed Lieutenant Saren's final moments, letting the pain sharpen targeting algorithms. Drones swarmed, intercepting incoming fire as the fleet executed coordinated flanking maneuvers. Each explosion, each hull breach, was a memorial. Humanity had learned from horror, and we wielded it as a weapon. Today, the void carried not just energy, but the weight of memory and the promise of retribution. Alien scouts fled across the expanse, trailing signals we decoded with ease. I ordered pursuit, engines roaring in response, dreadnought and escort vessels moving as one. Memory of Jupiter sharpened every calculation. Where the enemy faltered, how they feared, how they abandoned their own. Tactical grids displayed predicted routes, escape pods, weak shields, and every anomaly noted. Humanity's revenge was patient, precise, and merciless. Every maneuver reinforced that betrayal had consequences, and those consequences would be absolute. The fleet navigated through ion storms, shields pulsing with energy. I activated countermeasures to intercept communication arrays, leaving alien captains blind and panicked. On the bridge, the crew murmured, eyes fixed on glowing sensor lines. Each successful disruption was a reminder of power reclaimed from past humiliation. We hunted them like predators, letting memory dictate strategy. Humanity had transformed grief into weaponized knowledge. Today, we were unstoppable, and the expanse would echo with the sounds of our vengeance. We engaged the main alien convoy. Plasma trails crisscrossed the void, lighting up shattered remnants of their forward scouts. I recalled the screams at Jupiter, every betrayal etched in my mind, guiding aim and strategy. The dreadnought's main guns roared in harmony with my pulse. Each shot was a tribute to fallen friends, each hull breach a statement. Humanity does not forget. Sensors tracked energy fluctuations, calculating enemy weaknesses with lethal efficiency. The galaxy had mocked us once. It would pay now. Captain Herrick's voice cut through the bridge. Formation Delta breached. They're splitting. I watched alien vessels tumble, shields failing, systems overloading. Drones zipped between ships, delivering precision strikes that left no room for recovery. Memories of lost allies fueled every decision, turning grief into tactical advantage. Our fleet moved like a living weapon, each maneuver choreographed by pain, rage, and determination. The void itself seemed to shiver under the weight of humanity's wrath, and alien fleets had no refuge. I traced the deaths of friends on Jupiter as if drawing constellations across the stars. Each memory was a node of strategy, guiding plasma bursts, drone swarms, and shield harmonics. My crew had become extensions of that memory, moving in synchronicity with grief and vengeance. Engines hummed beneath my boots, a constant reminder that we carried both the weight of the past and the power to reshape the present. Every maneuver, every strike, was fueled by remembrance. Alien formations faltered under relentless assault. Graviton disruptors tore their coordination apart, and targeting systems exploited every flaw. I whispered names into the comm as we struck, each syllable a catalyst for destruction. Humanity had survived betrayal, transformed it into power, and now the galaxy would witness the culmination of our rage. The dreadnought's hull shuddered under the energy discharge of simultaneous attacks, and I allowed myself a brief, grim smile. Revenge was no longer an idea, it was reality. We cornered the last remnants of the alien fleet. I could see hesitation in their evasive patterns, a direct echo of Jupiter's betrayal. My hands hovered over the consoles, letting memory dictate precision. Hulls cracked under focused fire, shields flickered, and their formations collapsed. The bridge crew moved in perfect synchronization, eyes reflecting both loss and triumph. Humanity had turned grief into strategy, betrayal into power, and the void now belonged to those who refused to be abandoned. I activated the final salvo, a cascade of plasma and ion bursts tearing through the enemy flagship. Systems failed in spectacular bursts of light, alien warships tumbling helplessly. Silence settled for a moment, filled only by the hum of our dreadnought's engines. I exhaled slowly, remembering each fallen friend, each abandoned ally. Today, justice had been delivered, not with mercy but with the force of memory and vengeance. Humanity had risen from betrayal stronger than ever, and the galaxy would remember our wrath. We left the shattered alien remnants behind, debris drifting like frozen ghosts. Memories of Jupiter burned brighter than the stars. Trust had been violated, friends abandoned, lives wasted. But now the dreadnought carried both power and purpose. Tactical displays scrolled with enemy signatures from intercepted comms, each revealing cracks in alien cohesion. Humanity's revenge had only begun, and I could feel the weight of every lost life steering my hand. The void was ours to command. I watched my crew, once terrified and hesitant, now poised, their focus unbroken. Quantum drives hummed beneath the hull, shields braced for incoming counterstrikes. I tapped into the graviton array, anticipating enemy evasive maneuvers. Memories of betrayal guided every calculation, every deployment. Today, humanity was more than survivors. We were arbiters of consequence. Every shattered vessel, every disrupted fleet, was a testament to the cost of treachery and the unstoppable force of human vengeance. Scans revealed an enemy scouting fleet attempting to regroup near the Nereus Rift. We altered course, threading through asteroid clusters with deadly precision. I remembered the helplessness at Jupiter, friends burning as alien allies vanished. Now, every maneuver was deliberate, every decision guided by memory. Tactical drones flitted ahead, mapping traps, intercepting signals, turning fear into strategy. Humanity no longer fled. We hunted. I ordered the deployment of electromagnetic disruptors, scrambling alien comms, and destabilizing shields. The void erupted in a controlled chaos, alien formations fragmenting under pressure. Crew eyes reflected grim satisfaction. The echoes of betrayal had become their training. Every hull breach, every plasma burst carried the weight of those lost. Humanity's vengeance was meticulous, shaped by memory, sharpened by fire. Today, the silent pursuit would end with the enemy's ruin. Our fleet engaged the regrouping alien convoy. Plasma arcs tore across the void, lighting up debris fields like fireworks in slow motion. I recalled the screams of comrades left at Jupiter, their voices now driving precision strikes. Dreadnought turrets aligned with deadly accuracy, drones swarming to exploit every weakness. Humanity moved as one, each action synchronized with memory and grief. The enemy would learn the cost of abandonment. Captain Herrick's voice rang sharp. "Their flagship is exposed." I fired the graviton disruptor, destabilizing their central formation. Alien warships collided in a slow-motion catastrophe, shields failing one by one. My crew's silent focus mirrored my own, each breath calculated, each decision decisive. The void became a canvas, painted in plasma and memory. Humanity had transformed horror into strategy, betrayal into power, and the firestorm was proof that the past would dictate the future. We approached a field of derelict alien vessels. Among the wreckage, I recognized the signatures of ships that had fought beside us or abandoned us at Jupiter. Memories flooded back. Screams, empty comms, betrayal carved into the void. I traced tactical failures with cold precision, letting grief guide every movement. Humanity had learned from fire, and those lessons now wielded unprecedented power. Every destroyed ship was a warning. I unleashed a coordinated salvo, plasma streaks tearing through fragile hulls. Sensors screamed overloads as shields collapsed and engines failed. The crew watched silently, absorbing both horror and satisfaction. Names of fallen friends whispered across the comm, shaping targeting protocols. Humanity's vengeance was no longer reaction, it was orchestration. Every explosion, every shattered formation, was proof that betrayal was remembered, and justice would not wait. We entered the Trident Rift, pursued by alien remnants desperate to escape. I remembered Jupiter vividly. Allies vanished, comrades ejected into the void, the helplessness of betrayal. Now, the dreadnought moved with lethal purpose, shields glowing, plasma conduits ready. Tactical displays highlighted enemy vulnerabilities. Every movement was predicted and countered. Humanity's vengeance surged, a force honed by memory, fire, and relentless determination. I engaged the quantum disruptor, tearing through alien formations like a scalpel. Ships spun helplessly, engines failing, systems collapsing. Crew members exchanged brief nods, eyes reflecting both loss and triumph. The memory of Jupiter guided every strike, every calculated maneuver. Today, betrayal's shadow became humanity's weapon. The void trembled beneath engines and energy bursts alike, and alien fleets learned too late that the cost of abandoning humanity was absolute annihilation. The fleet entered a dense nebula near the Trident Rift. Sensors flickered with interference, but I trusted memory over uncertainty. The betrayal at Jupiter had taught us that hesitation was death. Tactical drones scanned relentlessly, mapping enemy ambush points hidden among ion clouds. My hand hovered over the graviton disruptor controls. Every flicker on the display was a reminder of friends lost, fueling precision and ruthlessness. Humanity would not be deceived again. Alien vessels emerged from the haze, expecting surprise. Instead, plasma arcs erupted from every flank, shields strained, and their formations broke instantly. My crew executed maneuvers rehearsed in memory, anticipating every evasive attempt. The dreadnought's engines thrummed with purpose, each vibration a heartbeat of vengeance. I whispered the names of those lost at Jupiter, letting grief guide targeting protocols. Today, ambush became annihilation, and betrayal would echo only in our history. I stood at the command console, engines roaring beneath me, eyes scanning tactical overlays. Each blip was a reminder of past failures, every alien signature a potential threat. The horror of Jupiter lingered, but it had transformed into calculated rage. Graviton disruptors hummed, plasma arrays aligned, drones swarmed into formation. The dreadnought was not just a vessel. It was a memory forged into weaponry. Humanity's vengeance was imminent. Alien cruisers faltered under our precision strikes. Shields collapsed, energy surges erupted, and the void trembled with destruction. Crew eyes reflected both sorrow and satisfaction, every hit guided by the ghosts of comrades who had fallen. Tactical displays tracked their fragmentation, predicting secondary impacts with deadly accuracy. Humanity had turned grief into strategy and betrayal into lethal advantage. Today, the galaxy would remember that the past could be wielded as power, and revenge was inevitable. We approached the outer edge of the Orion expanse. Reports indicated alien splinter factions attempting to regroup. I remembered the shock at Jupiter when allies had vanished mid-battle. That betrayal became my lens for action. Anticipate every move, exploit every weakness, leave no escape. Tactical drones probed formations, intercepting signals, while plasma arrays primed for precision strikes. Humanity's wrath moved like a single entity. The dreadnought's graviton disruptor tore through the first wave of ships, destabilizing their core systems. Alien frigates tumbled into each other, engines failing, shields flickering. Crew members worked in perfect synchronization, each maneuver rehearsed in the memory of those abandoned. I whispered the names of the fallen again, letting grief refine targeting. Humanity had become the predator in the void, and every fractured alliance learned too late that betrayal carried a price measured in fire and ruin. Flaring against the nebula's edge, plasma streaked across the void, arcs dancing like fire across shattered glass. I recalled the cries at Jupiter, the helplessness as allies vanished. Now, the dreadnought moved with lethal grace, shields pulsing, weapons primed. Tactical overlays mapped enemy weak points, predicting every evasive maneuver. Humanity's vengeance had become a storm, precise, unstoppable, and fueled by memory. Drones darted between alien vessels, delivering disabling strikes. Graviton waves disrupted formations. Plasma volleys carved paths of destruction. Crew murmurs of satisfaction were quiet, almost reverent, as the void lit with chaos. Each destroyed ship was a requiem for the fallen, a reminder that betrayal had consequences. I exhaled, letting memory temper rage into strategy. Humanity no longer fled. We dominated. We avenged. And the galaxy would remember the price of abandoning us. We cornered the last surviving alien fleet in the Lyra expanse. Memories of Jupiter's betrayal sharpened every decision. Who fled, who survived, who died. The dreadnought's hull thrummed beneath me, shields glowing, plasma conduits charged. Tactical overlays displayed enemy formations in disarray. Humanity's revenge was no longer a reaction. It was orchestration. Every move calculated, every strike deliberate, every explosion a testament to memory turned weapon. I fired the graviton disruptor, sending enemy capital ships spinning into the void. Drones delivered precise strikes to cripple engines and shields, leaving nothing but debris. Crew eyes reflected grim satisfaction, silently honoring the fallen as we executed every maneuver with lethal precision. Humanity had survived betrayal, and now we enforced justice across the stars. Today, the engines of vengeance roared louder than any scream of fear, and alien fleets discovered the cost of underestimating those they abandoned. We entered the Iron Veil, a dense nebula thick with ion storms. Sensors struggled to penetrate the cloud, but memory guided every maneuver. I remembered Jupiter, friends lost, allies gone, and let that fuel precision. Tactical drones flitted ahead, mapping every potential threat, while the dreadnought hummed with contained energy. Humanity had learned to turn chaos into advantage, grief into strategy. Alien scouts emerged, attempting an ambush. Plasma turrets flared in response, shields straining against incoming fire. The crew moved with practiced synchronization, executing maneuvers shaped by past betrayal. Graviton disruptors tore through enemy formations, causing ships to collide helplessly. I whispered the names of the fallen, letting their memory dictate targeting. Today, the Iron Veil bore witness. Humanity remembered, and humanity punished. Reverberating across the dreadnought's deck. Holographic displays flickered with enemy positions, every movement a reminder of the horror at Jupiter. Friends lost in mid-battle haunted each decision. Every turret, drone, and graviton array aligned with the echoes of memory. Humanity's vengeance was no longer reaction. It was orchestration, each strike a calculated reminder of betrayal's cost. I activated the main plasma array, slicing through enemy frigates. Shields failed, hulls cracked, and debris floated like frozen memories in the void. The crew's eyes reflected both grief and grim satisfaction. Each explosion was a requiem, each victory a tribute. Humanity had survived treachery, transformed it into power, and now the galaxy would remember the cost of abandoning those who refused to die quietly. We closed on the outer edge of the Orion expanse. Alien forces had consolidated, hoping to exploit distance, but we anticipated their moves. Tactical overlays calculated every trajectory, every evasive maneuver, every weakness. Memories of Jupiter sharpened each decision, turning pain into strategy. Humanity's dreadnought moved as a singular force, lethal and precise. I fired the quantum disruptor, destabilizing alien shields and engines in rapid succession. Drones weaved between capital ships, delivering targeted strikes with surgical efficiency. Crew murmurs of focus and grim satisfaction filled the bridge. The void became a canvas of plasma and fire, each explosion a tribute to lost friends and abandoned allies. Humanity had turned betrayal into weaponry, and the galaxy would bear witness. We pursued fleeing enemy convoys across the expanse. Plasma streaks carved paths of destruction through dense asteroid fields. I recalled Jupiter vividly. Comrades ejected into the void, allies vanished. That horror now guided every calculation, every salvo, every maneuver. Humanity moved like a storm, precise and relentless. Graviton disruptors tore enemy formations apart. Drones delivered disabling strikes, and plasma arcs shredded exposed hulls. Tactical overlays blinked with predicted outcomes, each one realized with brutal efficiency. Crew eyes reflected focus and remembrance, each hit fueled by memory. Humanity's vengeance was meticulous, unstoppable, and earned in fire. Today, the void was ours, and betrayal's echo became a weapon no enemy could survive. The dreadnought closed on a fortified alien bastion. Sensors pulsed with enemy activity, every signal a potential trap. I remembered the screams at Jupiter, every betrayal etched into my mind, shaping strategy and execution. Plasma conduits charged, shields braced, and drones prepared for precision strikes. Humanity's wrath was not instinct. It was memory weaponized. I unleashed a synchronized assault. Graviton disruptors destabilized the bastion, plasma arcs tore through hulls, and drones crippled engines. Alien formations fractured under relentless pressure. Crew members moved in harmony, eyes reflecting determination and grief alike. Every explosion, every shattered shield was a requiem for the fallen. Humanity had survived abandonment and turned pain into power. The engines of vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy would remember that betrayal carries a cost beyond comprehension. We approached the Crimson Divide, a belt of fractured asteroids hiding enemy fleets. Sensors flickered, but I trusted memory over uncertainty. Every flash of light, every debris drift reminded me of Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the friends lost. Tactical drones scanned relentlessly, mapping ambush points and enemy weaknesses. Humanity's vengeance was deliberate, calculated, unstoppable. Alien warships emerged, expecting surprise. Instead, plasma turrets flared, shields strained, and their formations faltered. Drones darted between ships, delivering precision strikes. I whispered the names of fallen comrades into the calm silence, letting grief guide targeting protocols. Every explosion was a memorial, every breach a statement. Humanity remembers, and betrayal is unforgiven. The fleet surged through the asteroid field. Tactical overlays lit up with alien signatures, every move anticipated. I remembered Jupiter vividly, letting past failures sharpen present strategy. Every turret, drone, and graviton pulse was aligned with memory, grief, and precision. Humanity had become a weapon forged from pain. Plasma arcs tore through alien hulls, shields faltering under calculated fire. The dreadnought vibrated with power as crew members moved in perfect synchronization. Every destroyed ship was a tribute to the fallen, a message to those who abandoned us. Memory guided vengeance, grief transformed into strategy, and humanity's wrath became unstoppable. The galaxy trembled in our wake. Alien fleets attempted to regroup near the Orion expanse. Their confidence betrayed by past defeats, they underestimated our precision. Tactical drones flitted through formations, intercepting signals and revealing weak points. I recalled the chaos at Jupiter, the allies who vanished mid-battle, letting those memories sharpen every maneuver. Humanity would no longer be fooled. Graviton disruptors destabilized the enemy core, causing ships to collide helplessly. Plasma volleys tore through exposed hulls while drones crippled engines. Crew murmurs reflected grim satisfaction. Each destroyed vessel was a requiem for the fallen, a message to the living. Betrayal carries consequences. Humanity had survived abandonment and turned sorrow into power, reshaping the void in fire and memory. We closed on a convoy attempting to flee through an ion storm. Plasma arcs danced across the void, reflections of past betrayals guiding every strike. Tactical overlays predicted enemy evasive patterns with brutal accuracy. Memories of Jupiter sharpened targeting, each salvo a tribute to friends left behind. Humanity's vengeance was precise, relentless, and personal. Drones delivered targeted strikes, shields flickered under graviton pulses, and alien formations fractured. Crew members moved in practiced synchronization, eyes reflecting focus, grief, and triumph. Every explosion was a memorial, every hull breach a statement. Humanity remembers, and vengeance is inevitable. The void became a canvas for fire and memory, and no alien fleet could survive our orchestration. We approached the heart of enemy territory. Sensors pulsed with alien activity, every signal a potential trap. I remembered Jupiter, the helplessness, the screams, the betrayal, and let those memories guide strategy. Plasma conduits hummed, shields braced, and drones moved like extensions of memory. Humanity's wrath was no longer reactionary. It was orchestration, precise and unstoppable. I activated the quantum disruptor, tearing through enemy capital ships. Drones incapacitated engines, shields failed, and alien formations collapsed. Crew eyes reflected determination and grief alike. Every explosion, every shattered hull was a tribute to the fallen. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed it into power. The engines of vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy would remember. To abandon humanity is to invite annihilation. Our fleet approached the shattered front, a sector littered with wreckage from previous skirmishes. Sensors picked up scattered alien forces attempting to regroup. I remembered Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the helplessness, and let those memories guide strategy. Drones probed formations, plasma arrays aligned, and the dreadnought thrummed with lethal intent. Humanity's vengeance was precise, calculated, unstoppable. Alien ships tried to form a defensive line, but graviton disruptors tore their coordination apart. Plasma arcs shredded exposed hulls, while drones delivered crippling strikes. Crew eyes reflected both grief and grim satisfaction. Every explosion, every collapsing ship was a tribute to the fallen. Humanity had survived abandonment and turned memory into a weapon, and the shattered front would remember our wrath. We entered the vortex of fire, an asteroid cluster surrounded by ion storms. Tactical overlays lit with alien signatures, each maneuver predicted and countered. Memories of Jupiter sharpened every decision, every salvo, every movement. Humanity had learned from fire. Grief had become a strategy, betrayal a tool. The dreadnought surged forward, a predator in the void. Plasma bursts tore through enemy formations, shields failing under precise strikes. Drones darted between ships, delivering crippling hits to engines and comms. Crew murmurs reflected focus and determination. Each destroyed vessel was a memorial, each shattered formation a warning. Humanity had survived betrayal and turned pain into power. Today, the vortex of fire bore witness. Vengeance moves with precision, and memory dictates its path. The fleet advanced through debris fields, remnants of battles long past. Holographic displays flickered with alien activity, every blip a potential threat. I recalled Jupiter, the screams, the helplessness, the betrayal, and let those memories guide targeting. Tactical drones scouted ahead, shields pulsed with anticipation, and the dreadnought thrummed with lethal purpose. Humanity would not be abandoned again. Alien frigates attempted evasive maneuvers, but plasma volleys and graviton pulses left them helpless. Drones disabled engines and critical systems with surgical precision. Crew eyes mirrored focus and grim satisfaction. Each explosion was a requiem, each destroyed ship a tribute to the fallen. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed grief into strategy. The void burned with our vengeance, and no enemy would escape memory's reach. We approached a heavily fortified alien bastion. Sensors blared with enemy activity, and every movement was predicted with lethal accuracy. Memories of Jupiter, the lost friends, the abandoned allies, guided each decision. The dreadnought pulsed with energy. Plasma conduits glowing, shields braced. Humanity's vengeance was methodical, precise, and inevitable. I fired the graviton disruptor, destabilizing the bastion and sending alien vessels tumbling helplessly. Plasma arrays carved through defenses, drones incapacitated engines, and the void erupted with controlled chaos. Crew members moved in perfect synchronization, their eyes reflecting determination and remembrance. Humanity had survived betrayal and turned it into power. Every explosion, every shattered hull, was proof that abandoning us invites annihilation. We reached the Lyra Expanse, where the final remnants of the alien fleet had gathered. Tactical overlays flickered with signatures, showing weakened formations and desperate attempts at cohesion. Memories of Jupiter, the screams, the betrayal, burned in my mind, guiding every maneuver. Humanity's vengeance had become unstoppable, precise, and absolute. Graviton disruptors, plasma volleys, and drone strikes tore through the enemy fleet. Ships collided, shields failed, and their formations crumbled. Crew eyes reflected both grief and triumph, every action fueled by memory. Humanity had survived abandonment and transformed sorrow into strategy. The engines of vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy would remember that betrayal carries a cost beyond reckoning. We approached the Phantom Armada, a scattered fleet attempting to regroup in the shadow of a gas giant. Sensor feeds flickered as ionic storms interfered, but memory guided every maneuver. I remembered Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the helplessness, and let those echoes shape our strategy. Drones scanned ahead, plasma arrays hummed, and the dreadnought thrummed with lethal intent. Humanity would not be deceived again. Alien ships surged, expecting an advantage, but graviton disruptors tore formations apart. Plasma arcs shredded exposed hulls, and drones delivered crippling precision strikes. Crew murmurs reflected grim satisfaction. Eyes haunted yet resolute. Every shattered vessel was a memorial. Every explosion a reminder. Humanity remembers, and vengeance is inevitable. The Phantom Armada learned the cost of abandoning us. Our fleet moved through an asteroid cluster, the void alive with plasma and fire. Tactical overlays tracked enemy movement with lethal precision, every maneuver guided by memory of Jupiter. Each turret, drone, and graviton pulse aligned with grief and strategy, transforming sorrow into power. Humanity surged forward, unstoppable, calculated, and relentless. Plasma volleys tore through alien shields, hulls splintered under concentrated fire. Drones darted between ships, delivering crippling strikes to engines and comms. Crew murmurs reflected focus and remembrance, every destroyed ship a tribute to the fallen. Humanity had survived betrayal and turned grief into a tactical advantage. Today, the void burned with vengeance, and no enemy fleet could escape its reach. We breached the Orion expanse where alien forces had consolidated in desperation. Tactical drones scanned relentlessly, mapping formations and identifying weaknesses. I recalled Jupiter, the abandoned, the screams, the loss, and let memory guide each decision. Plasma conduits hummed, graviton arrays aligned, and the dreadnought pulsed with lethal purpose. Humanity's vengeance was no longer reactionary. It was orchestration. Graviton disruptors destabilized alien cores, causing collisions and catastrophic failures. Plasma arcs shredded exposed hulls, drones incapacitated engines, and the void was lit with destruction. Crew eyes mirrored focus and grim satisfaction, every strike fueled by memory. Humanity had transformed grief into strategy, betrayal into power. Orion would remember our wrath, and no alien fleet would underestimate those they abandoned. The fleet pursued fleeing alien remnants through dense nebulae. Sensor interference could not hide betrayal from memory. Every past failure at Jupiter shaped present strikes, guiding drones, plasma arrays, and graviton pulses. The dreadnought moved with lethal grace, a predator in the void. Humanity's vengeance was precise, unstoppable, and personal. Alien ships faltered under coordinated assault. Plasma arcs tore through hulls, shields collapsed, and drones delivered surgical strikes. Crew eyes reflected grief, determination, and grim triumph. Every destroyed vessel was a requiem for the fallen, a message for those who abandoned us. Humanity had survived betrayal and turned it into power. The void burned with memory, and vengeance claimed every light year. We reached the heart of enemy territory, a fortified cluster of alien warships. Sensor grids pulsed with activity, every signal a trap. Memories of Jupiter, the helplessness, the screams, the betrayal, guided every maneuver. The dreadnought thrummed beneath me. Plasma conduits charged, shields braced. Humanity's wrath was methodical, precise, and absolute. I activated the graviton disruptor, destabilizing the central formation. Plasma volleys shredded shields, drones incapacitated engines, and alien fleets tumbled helplessly. Crew murmurs reflected focus and grim satisfaction, every action driven by memory. Humanity had survived abandonment and turned sorrow into power. Today, vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy learned that betraying humanity carries a cost beyond reckoning. We entered the Gauntlet, a narrow corridor of asteroid fields and debris where enemy forces had laid traps. Sensors flickered, but memory guided every maneuver. I remembered Jupiter, the screams, the betrayal, the helplessness, and let those ghosts sharpen strategy. Tactical drones scouted ahead, plasma arrays hummed, and the dreadnought thrummed with lethal anticipation. Humanity would not stumble again. Alien ambushes erupted, expecting surprise, but graviton disruptors tore formations apart before they could react. Plasma arcs shredded hulls, drones disabled engines, and shields flared against the assault. Crew eyes reflected focus and grim satisfaction. Each destroyed ship was a memorial, each explosion a testament. Humanity remembers, and vengeance moves with precision. The fleet surged through the gauntlet, the void alive with plasma and fire. Tactical overlays tracked every enemy movement, each maneuver predicted with deadly accuracy. Memories of Jupiter, the abandoned, the screams, the loss, guided every calculation. Humanity's vengeance was no longer a reaction. It was orchestration, precise and unrelenting. Plasma volleys tore through alien formations, and shields failed under concentrated fire. Drones delivered crippling strikes to engines and systems, leaving enemy ships crippled and disoriented. Crew murmurs reflected grief and determination, every hit fueled by memory. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed sorrow into tactical supremacy. The gauntlet burned with our vengeance, and no fleet could withstand its force. We approached the fractured core, a nexus of alien warships attempting a desperate stand. Sensor grids blared with enemy activity, but memory guided our strategy. I recalled Jupiter, the helplessness, the screams, the betrayal, and let those echoes dictate each move. Plasma conduits hummed, graviton arrays aligned, and the dreadnought pulsed with lethal purpose. Humanity's wrath was unstoppable. I unleashed a synchronized assault. Graviton disruptors destabilized enemy cores, plasma arcs tore through hulls, and drones incapacitated engines. Ships collided helplessly, formations crumbled, and the void lit with destruction. Crew eyes mirrored determination and grim satisfaction. Every destroyed vessel was a requiem, every breach a message. Humanity had survived abandonment and turned memory into power. We closed on a fleeing alien flagship. Tactical overlays predicted evasive maneuvers, every movement calculated with precision. Memories of Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the lost friends, guided targeting. The dreadnought thrummed beneath me, shields glowing, plasma conduits ready. Humanity's vengeance was deliberate, unstoppable, and absolute. Graviton pulses tore through the flagship systems, plasma volleys shredded shields, and drones crippled engines. Crew murmurs reflected focus, grief, and triumph. Each explosion was a memorial, each collapsing hull a tribute. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed sorrow into power. The void burned with vengeance, and alien fleets learned the cost of abandoning humanity. Total annihilation. We reached the heart of enemy territory, a massive cluster of capital ships entrenched in defenses. Sensors blared with activity, every signal a potential trap. I remembered Jupiter, the screams, the helplessness, the betrayal, and let those memories shape every maneuver. Plasma arrays hummed, graviton disruptors charged, drones moved like extensions of memory. Humanity's wrath was methodical, precise, and absolute. I unleashed the full arsenal. Graviton disruptors destabilized formations, plasma volleys shredded hulls, and drones incapacitated engines. Alien fleets tumbled helplessly, formations crumbling under relentless assault. Crew eyes reflected determination and grief alike. Humanity had survived abandonment and transformed pain into power. The engines of vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy would remember. Betraying humanity invites nothing less than annihilation. We pursued scattered alien remnants into the outer void. Sensor feeds flickered, but memories of Jupiter sharpened every decision. The betrayal, the screams, the helplessness. They were guides, shaping tactics and strategy. Drones scouted ahead, plasma arrays hummed with energy, and the dreadnought pulsed with lethal intent. Humanity would no longer be prey. Alien vessels attempted to flee, but graviton disruptors fractured their formations. Plasma arcs shredded hulls, engines failed, and drones executed surgical strikes. Crew eyes reflected focus, grief, and grim satisfaction. Every destroyed ship was a tribute to fallen comrades, a warning to those who abandoned humanity. The void belonged to us, and vengeance moved with unerring precision. We entered the ashen fields, debris drifting like frozen memories. Tactical overlays lit with enemy activity, each signature a challenge to our precision. I remembered Jupiter, the lost, the abandoned, the screams, and let those echoes guide every decision. Plasma conduits charged, drones aligned, shields braced. Humanity's wrath surged through the void. Alien ships attempted desperate maneuvers, but graviton disruptors and plasma volleys tore through hulls and shields. Drones disabled engines and comms with surgical precision. Crew murmurs reflected focus and determination. Each explosion was a requiem, every collapsed ship a tribute. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed grief into power. The ashen fields would remember our vengeance. We navigated the fractured nebula, where dense ion clouds masked enemy movements. Sensors flickered, but memory guided every calculation. I recalled Jupiter, the screams, the helplessness, the betrayal, and let those ghosts sharpen every maneuver. Drones scanned ahead, shields pulsed, and plasma arrays hummed. Humanity's vengeance was precise, unstoppable, and personal. Plasma arcs tore through alien formations, graviton pulses fractured cores, and drones incapacitated engines. Crew eyes mirrored grief and determination, every action guided by memory. Each destroyed vessel was a memorial, a warning that humanity does not forget. The fractured nebula burned with our vengeance, and no fleet could escape the reach of those who had been abandoned. We closed on the outer stronghold of the alien forces. Sensors blared with activity, every movement predicted with lethal precision. Memories of Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the lost friends, guided every maneuver. Plasma conduits thrummed, graviton arrays aligned, and the dreadnought pulsed with lethal intent. Humanity's vengeance was unstoppable. I unleashed a synchronized assault. Graviton disruptors destabilized shields, plasma volleys tore through hulls, and drones crippled engines. Ships collided helplessly, formations disintegrated, and the void erupted in controlled chaos. Crew murmurs reflected focus and grim satisfaction. Every destroyed vessel was a requiem, every breach a message. Humanity survives betrayal and transforms grief into power. We pursued the last shadow of the alien fleet into the Seraphim Rift. Sensor grids picked up faint signatures. Evasive maneuvers attempted to mask their presence. I remembered Jupiter, the helplessness, the screams, the betrayal, and let those memories guide every decision. Plasma arrays hummed, graviton disruptors charged, drones moved with surgical precision. Humanity's wrath was relentless. Graviton pulses tore through the final alien vessels, plasma arcs shredded shields and hulls, and drones incapacitated engines. Crew eyes reflected focus, grief, and grim triumph. Every explosion was a memorial, every destroyed ship a tribute to the fallen. Humanity had survived abandonment and transformed sorrow into a lethal strategy. The engines of vengeance roared louder than ever, and the galaxy would remember that betraying humanity comes at the ultimate cost. We approached the heart of enemy territory, a massive citadel of warships anchored near the Andromeda Rift. Sensor grids blared with activity, every signature a potential trap. I remembered Jupiter, the betrayal, the screams, the helplessness, and let those memories guide every maneuver. Plasma conduits thrummed, graviton disruptors aligned, drones swarmed. Humanity's wrath had become unstoppable. I unleashed a synchronized assault. Plasma arcs shredded shields, graviton disruptors fractured engines, and drones crippled command systems. Ships collided helplessly, and formations collapsed. Crew eyes reflected grief and triumph. Every destroyed vessel honored the fallen. Every explosion declared that humanity survives betrayal. Today, vengeance reached its heart, and the galaxy trembled beneath our engines. The alien flagship emerged from the rift, attempting a final rally. Tactical overlays lit with enemy formations, but every move was anticipated. Memories of Jupiter guided targeting. Friends lost, allies abandoned, betrayal burned into the void. Plasma turrets aligned, drones moved like extensions of memory, and the dreadnought pulsed with lethal power. Graviton pulses tore through the flagship's shields, plasma volleys tore open hulls, and drones delivered crippling strikes. Alien formations faltered, then collapsed. Crew eyes mirrored grief, determination, and satisfaction. Humanity had survived abandonment and transformed pain into strategy. The shattered fleet would remember our wrath, and no betrayal would ever go unpunished. The final remnants of enemy reinforcements tried to flee. Sensor feeds picked up every signature, every evasive maneuver anticipated. I recalled Jupiter, the helplessness, the screams, the betrayal, and let memory dictate the assault. Plasma arrays flared, graviton disruptors hummed, drones darted like ghosts. Humanity's vengeance was precise, personal, and absolute. Alien ships collided, engines failed, shields flickered, and drones delivered surgical strikes. Crew murmurs reflected focus, grief, and triumph. Every destroyed vessel was a requiem, every breach a tribute. Humanity had survived betrayal and transformed memory into weaponry. The void burned with vengeance, and alien fleets discovered the true cost of abandoning those who refused to die quietly. We approached the enemy command nexus, the last organized fleet in the sector. Sensors detected energy surges, defensive turrets, and evasive formations. Memories of Jupiter guided every movement. The screams, the abandonment, the loss. Tactical overlays lit with predicted maneuvers. Plasma conduits charged, graviton disruptors pulsed. Humanity's vengeance had become absolute. I fired the quantum disruptor, fracturing their shields and core systems. Plasma arcs shredded hulls, drones disabled engines, and formations collapsed in chaotic destruction. Crew eyes mirrored determination and remembrance. Every explosion was a tribute, every shattered ship proof that humanity survives betrayal. Engines of triumph roared through the void, and the galaxy would remember the wrath of those who had been abandoned. The void fell silent. The alien threat was shattered, their fleets scattered or annihilated. Tactical displays reflected total victory. I remembered Jupiter, every betrayal, every fallen friend, and let that memory sink into the silence of the void. Humanity had turned grief into power, horror into strategy, and abandonment into unstoppable vengeance. Crew members stood silently on the bridge, eyes reflecting both loss and triumph. Debris drifted across the stars like memorials. I whispered the names of the fallen, letting memory guide closure. Humanity had survived betrayal and reshaped the galaxy in its image. One final time, carrying our legacy across the stars, a warning, a triumph, and a testament that the price of abandoning humanity is absolute annihilation. The void remembered, and so would the galaxy. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.